Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Jason Wheeler, Coordinator of Communication for Flagler Schools. Joining us today is Board Chair Cheryl Massaro. She represents District 5. Dr. Colleen Conklin is our Vice Chair. She represents District 3. Ms. Christy Chong represents District 4. Mr. Will Furry, District 2. And Ms. Sally Hunt, District 1. We're going to start this with some comments from our Board Chair. They'll be followed by Ms. LaShakia Moore, who is our Interim Superintendent. We'll have a brief question and answer period following that. So with no further ado, Ms. Massaro.
Good morning, everyone. I certainly wish I was not standing here at this moment at this particular time under these circumstances. Flagler Schools, they gave me a script. I'm going to read it, but you're going to hear a little bit from me too at the same time. The district does not in any way support the activity that took place at Bunnell Elementary School. To the parents and students affected by these actions of Flagler County community, we make no excuses but extend our apology, all of our apologies. It should not have happened. If we had known about it, it wouldn't have happened. But it came to knowledge after the fact. So please understand that clearly. The district believes communication and parental involvement is essential components needed to meet the individual students and their needs. The district mission and vision is to ensure all students, let me repeat that, all students, graduate and socially responsible citizens and skills necessary to reach maximum potential. Flagler School Board does not support segregation. It hasn't, not this group, not for many, many, many years. So please understand, yes, a horrible, horrific mistake was made. This district will do all that it can to get us back on track and continue moving everyone forward. At this time, let me introduce to you our Interim Superintendent, Ms. LaShakia Moore.
Good morning. As Cheryl Massaro stated, the purpose of this is really to offer an apology to our students, to our families, all of our families, and to this community. And that's where we want to start, with acknowledging our heartfelt regard, because this should not have happened, but it did. And as the interim superintendent of Flagler Schools, it is my responsibility to identify why did this happen. We do have an investigation that is ongoing at this time, and we will continue to move forward as we get additional information at the conclusion of the investigation. My appeal is to our families and to this community that we continue to work together in order to help each other and improve the academic performance of all of our students here in Flagler County. Our theme as a school district this year is Flagler Forward. That means excellence and service for all of our students. We make no excuses of what happened. We offer our apology, and we offer actionable actions for us to move forward in supporting our students, supporting our schools, and supporting this community. On next week, Tuesday, we are going to offer a community forum. We have already have confirmation from many of our local community organizations, including the NAACP, African American Mentoring Program, and other local organizations that are committed to working with Flagler Schools as we improve the outcomes for all of our students. And so I ask, if you are a member of this community and you would like to be a part of this forum, please reach out to me directly so that we can get you connected and we can begin the necessary work to ensure that we don't end in this place ever again. I will offer an opportunity for any questions.
Superintendent, were kids told that they would be shot at or thrown in jail if they didn't get their scores up or do their homework? Who told them that, if that's true, and why did they think that was appropriate to say?
as I stated, we are in an ongoing investigation. At the conclusion of that investigation, that information will become public knowledge, and we will know what was said, who stated it, and we will also, as a school district, I will respond appropriately based on that information.
Is Principal Evanson on paid administrative leave?
Ms. Evanson is currently on paid administrative leave, yes, sir.
Is actions against the faculty who organized these assemblies on the table pending the results of the investigation?
Absolutely. We are investigating the entire situation from the beginning stage all the way to the implementation, and we will follow progressive discipline as we do that.
What
Yes.
steps will you take to prevent the recurrence of something like this?
I'm glad you made that statement. It is, for me, it is making sure that our staff is empowered to know that when, we talk to our students about see something, say something, but we want to make sure our staff that may feel like something isn't right with this, that they are empowered to speak up and address this concern that they have. And so how do we address that? So that we address that through continuous professional learning. We address that by me making that statement to them and demonstrating that that is the expectation of Flagler schools. So there's work for us to do in that, and we will do that mainly through professional learning. Mr. Warno.
Your statements have been stronger each day since this happened. As the investigation has increased, what have you discovered that you didn't know maybe Friday or Saturday?
And really on Friday night, when I was made aware of this, and really on Saturday and into Monday and Tuesday, my main point was to speak with the families that were impacted. And so that was a priority for me, and it remains a priority for me right now. I am committed to calling each and every one of those families. I have reached a majority of them, and we have either spoken face-to-face or on the phone. So my focus was there. And so as we continue to move forward, we will get more information, and we will respond according to the information that we have.
What
Yes, sir.
teachers-
What emotions or what did you learn from those parents and those families after you spoke with them?
Upset, concerned as to how and why it happened, but majority of the families that I spoke with, their end conversation was, what do we do now? How do we work together as a community, which is inclusive of our families? How do we work together in order to ensure that we're never in this place again? And so they were upset, but at the end of the conversation, they understood this happened, it should not have happened, we apologize, now what are we going to do about it, was the ending parts of those conversations. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
In the past, when student performance was as concerning, how was it taken care of? How would you notify your students that they were performing, their performance wasn't up to par? How were their parents told, and why was an assembly held?
In the past, we have done a range of different ways of having data chats with our students. We want to definitely ensure that our students know where they are performing. We put procedures and strategies and interventions in place for those students to be successful. And so those really was done at individual level. We did that through parent-teacher conferences. So why an assembly of this style was chosen, I'm not sure, but I am confident that that is likely going to come out as we continue with the investigation.
Which
Yes, ma'am.
What disciplinary action do you expect regarding those who took part and organized and led the assembly, and regarding Ms. Evanson, whom you rose through the ranks together as friends and as professional colleagues? How is your judgment known to be clouded when it comes time to assigning disciplinary matters?
So as this investigation goes forward, based on the investigation, we will get a detailed report of what happened. That information will go to a committee prior to even coming to me. Those individuals will review that information. They will make a recommendation that will be provided to me. I will then review the investigation, and I will assign discipline as appropriate based on the information that we have. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask, regular circumstances, would permission slips have to have been signed or sent out to parents because it's an assembly kind of forum? And I think there's actually a new state law about that. Was any kind of permission slip thought of? I know it didn't go out, but would they have had to sign off on an assembly of this public forum that the children were all invited to?
Again, as the investigation comes to end, we'll know exactly if was it done or if it was not done. I don't have those details at this time, but yes, going forward, if a group of students are going to be brought in and there is going to be a conversation conducted with them that is outside of what families send them to school to be educated on, their standards, then parents should be notified about that in advance.
Were any emails sent out to those 4th and 5th grade teachers asking them to send the students to the assembly? And if there was there any pushback? Have you spoken to teachers? What are they saying about this?
I have spoken with teachers that feel, going back to seeing something, saying something, if something doesn't feel right, how and when and who should you speak up to? So what information was sent out, I don't have that, but we will have that at the conclusion of the investigation. But I have spoken to many teachers today. I will go back today and tomorrow, and as long as I need to be there on the campus of Bunnell Elementary School so that I can speak with the families, I can speak with the faculty and the staff, and if students, if appropriate, and asked for by their parents. And I have had some parents that ask that. Yes, ma'am.
Going forward, Superintendent Moore, should we be focused, this is an honest question from an old educator, on yearly gain scores? These children have been set back by COVID, school scheduling disruptions. This is constantly, we're below grade level. But what are we gaining every year? Can't we focus on gain scores for a change? That is the only valid measure for children that have endured deaths in their family, disruptions, economic disruptions, this strong-arming tactic rather than reward for a year's growth. Keeping things positive, I hope. And I know as a retired educator, if there is any way you need to call upon those ranks for tutoring, interventions, I hope you will open it to those of us who still remain in the community. Thank you for your service.
So we look at a range of different data points. We look at student achievement, we look at growth, we look at even, as you know, formative assessment, teacher observation, all in identifying what are the needs of the students. We do have an obligation as a school system to ensure that our students are receiving the highest caliber education possible so that they can go on and be productive members of this society. So that is our responsibility, and I'm glad that you asked about the appeal to the community. We need our community, and there are members of the community, I don't know if it's our community or the greater community, that feel when I ask for support from the community that I am deflecting this. I am not deflecting this. I own this, but I have been a long-time educator here in Flagler schools. I am committed to the success of these students, not only because I am an educator, but because I am a member of this community. So I need you as a community member. I need every community member. I need our business partners. I need our faith-based. I need everyone to come together, one, around let's have a hard conversation. Let's identify what happened here and what we need to go forward. But at the end of the day, we got to educate students, and I'm going to need you to do that. So yes, please get involved to be a mentor. I'm going to take this gentleman and then the families in order to do that. And I want to make sure that as I'm speaking to those families, we're identifying what do you need for your child and going from there. And I've spoken with a lot of different families, some who have wanted counseling, some who want to know about tutoring that is available to them, some wanting to know how they can be a volunteer and mentor. This is a bad thing, but we as a community, we have to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to make sure we get back to the heart of ensuring that our students have the best education possible, and that's for all of our students. Yes, ma'am.
First, I want to thank you for your leadership and what you have done here for Flagler Schools. but the students have been traumatized, they have been victimized, and some may even say have been bullied by the administration. Have there been conversations or talks with families about possibly transferring these students to another school?
So I have had families that did ask that question. We have open choice here in Flagler County, and so those families that want that, we will help to assist that. The majority of the families that I've spoken to, they have been long-time people at Bunnell Elementary School, and they know the heart of the educators there, and those families are not wanting to just make that decision. They're wanting to stay where they know that their children are loved, that their children are getting a great education. They're wanting to stay there. And so we have had some families to ask that question, but the majority of them, they are confident in the work that is being done at Bunnell Elementary, and they're confident in the support that we will provide as a district to help us move forward. Yes, Dr. Pearson.
Thank you for this. I really have had, as in the ACT assessment, and many calls. And I called a couple of parents back recently, and I put the others on hold because this was taking place. But the reality is, I said to each one of them, I want to sit with you with your family. I've been a long-time educator, and the one thing that they have is my cell number that hasn't changed in 40 years. So they have called, and the one question that makes sense is just the words of the person is, thank goodness you're involved, but they're talking about Phyllis versus NAACP, but I am responsible, and one of the civil and human rights is what we do. It's just the nature of the 114 years. But in reality, it's all a family or a child at a time. For 38 years as an educator and leader, and no matter what, it's always the family. A kid, 3 kids in a family, it's all different when you have a conversation with the parents. So I want to say to the families and to the community that before this situation happened, our number one focus is the education support that we can provide. Which is the response in the paper when we talked about supporting you, Superintendent, but mostly we talked about how to engage and empower the voices of those disenfranchised persons who don't usually come to the microphone and say anything. So that is what their concern is how do we make sure this never happens again, verbatim statements from parents, and what are we going to do? When they say we, they mean the collective community, going to do about the situation besides holding the individuals accountable, the persons who did the assembly. I don't believe in having conversations and meeting with yourself, Superintendent, as well as the principal thus far, which we're going to have ongoing meetings. It's not going to stop, but those parents' words are, same thing you said, I've been here all my life, and I'm not leaving, so what are we going to do about this? And so the answer is we will walk them through and support them where they come from, individuals, and have those meetings. Whatever they ask for, try to adjust that individually and collectively. So I thank you for the opportunity to continue to work with Flagler County Schools on a different space this time.
I just want to say thank you to you, as well as thank you to all of our community organizations, and no disregard to the greater community outside of Flagler County. But I want to thank the members of the community here in Flagler County that have reached out to say just that. This shouldn't have happened, but what are we going to do about it? Let's work together to ensure that our focus gets back to educating students. And so I want to say thank you to you, as well as other organizations that have reached out and said just that.
Last question, please.
Ms. Moore, I was going to ask you, and maybe I misunderstood, was there discipline for the other teachers involved? I know you mentioned the principal is on administrative leave. And also, have you personally met with the children?
So right now, under the investigation, we do have 2 individuals that are on administrative leave, the principal and 1 teacher that is on administrative leave. We are continuing with the investigation, and as the investigation unfolds, we will continue to move forward. I have met with And I'm going back today to Bunnell Elementary School to meet with another parent and their child. So I have met with some parents and their children. I have not gone in and sat with students individually. Some of them don't know me, some of them do, and I see families in here that do know me. And so I saw some of those families as I was on campus today that know me, and those kids running up and giving me a hug and telling me how happy they are to see me. But I would be inappropriate if I, without the collaboration of the family, just go and have individual conversations with those students. I am not going to do that, but I do welcome having those conversations with our families. And I'll say this as we wrap up. Again, going back to our theme this year is Flagler Forward. And as a community, not just here with our school district, because we need more than just our school district, we need our greater community. Flagler Forward is all about excellence and service, and we want to ensure that we're providing the best education possible for all of our students. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being here, and I welcome our families to continue to reach out to me as well as to our board members. Thank you and have a great day.